Hey planner friends, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm planning from the 12th to the 18th of May in my Archer and Olive notebook, and I'm using this kit from Josephine Bow Designs called Summer Sunrise. So it has this gorgeous hollow foil and just these super summery designs. I know it's still May, but the weekend of this week we had my weightlifting club's summer competition, so this kit just kind of fit the vibe. With Josephine Bow Designs kits, I sometimes run out of stickers, so I have a bunch of matching stickers pulled out from my stash in one of my Planner Face reusable sticker albums, and then I have all of my character stickers for the week pulled out in a different one. I have my planning notes in front of me, so let's get into the base of this spread. So I haven't used anything other than a Planner Face kit in this layout so far this year. So I'm really excited to see how this is going to turn out, but also slightly concerned that this is going to take me ages. And I also, I know that Josephine Bow Designs kits are not particularly removable, so we're just going to have to be kind of careful because I can't move things around as much as I would normally end up doing. So yeah, as I said, this week was my weightlifting club's summer competition, and it was a super fun week. I know that in my last plan with me, I was kind of down in the dumps, and then I filmed that plan with me after this week had happened, and I was feeling like so much better. So I found it quite difficult to do that plan with me and be talking about like a really rubbish time when I knew I was feeling good after this week. I'm going to leave this gap in the sidebar until I've done the rest of my full boxes, just because I'm probably going to pick one of the just patterned ones rather than the like palm tree-ish ones, and I will need to cut it down. I've predated all of my date covers using some hollow date dots left over from a Planner Face foil bundle. So I'm not going like super foily this week. Well, this kit is super foily, but that's one of the reasons I'm not adding any more foil to it. These Josephine Bow Designs kits always seem to end up being incredibly shiny. I think it's the combination of like the foil being on matte paper rather than being on glossy. It just seems to be even shinier than normal foil. Yeah, let's hope that we can pull that up. Okay, I'm doing okay with pulling things up, so that's positive. Yeah, so I had the Monday off this week, and I did my openers over at my club, rather than trying to get myself to do heavy lifts in my garage on my own, because after the end of last week I'd kind of lost a bit of confidence and I wasn't feeling particularly positive about the competition, but my coach got me out of my slump and I had an amazing weekend. And then I had an extra work from home day, and because of the lighting issues in my office, which have now, I'm very excited to say, the week following this week that I'm planning for, have actually been fixed. So on this Friday, I got told that I was going to have the light above my desk replaced with just like a plain ceiling tile, so that I didn't have this like garish bright light right above my head. And it's made a huge difference this week. So I'm very excited for this kind of drama with lighting to be over, because it boggles my mind that it's taken them like 5 months to be able to just swap out a light for a ceiling tile. I love the bottom washies from Josephine Bow, but unfortunately, because I'm in like a quite squished up layout that I draw, I'm not going to be able to use half of them. So I'll have to find them a home somewhere else. Okay. I think I want to use this one on Sunday. So I'm going to put the Sunday full box at the end of the day, because that's the day that I had to wake up super early to get to the competition to weigh in. And then I use these blue palm trees over here. And then the sunrise palm trees over here. Cute. And then I have a space here. I think I'm gonna go with this wibbly wobbly one. Okay, so I just trimmed that. And hopefully we've now got a little chunk that fits in nicely. Yes. Okay, well that's a bit wonky. Let's make that a bit less wonky. Okay, and then the weekend banner. I think this weekend banner was kind of the reason that I picked this kit, because our summer comp was called our Big Weekender. So yeah, look, oh, it's so shiny on camera. Oh my god, I'm so excited for this spread. So that is our base all down. Now we can get into the plans for the week. Okay, so starting off on Monday, I was off work this day, so let's just grab this mini event label. And then I started off the day by just playing some Sims. Yeah, so we use a half box for that, because I feel, if I remember correctly, I spent a lot of this day playing Sims. And then I also watched some Asian championships. So I was still watching the Asian weightlifting championships, and I was getting kind of stressed because the judges were being very mean. And I was like, I'm really glad that no one's going to judge me like that at the weekend. I then put my lifting journal together. That way. Okay, I think I've got more space than I thought I had here. As always. I then had team training in the evening. I'm not going to use that one actually. Let's use this one. I will end up using all these half boxes, even though I like never use half boxes. So let's put that down gently. And then in the evening, I just played some Baldur's Gate with Becca. So we'll get this blue kind of third box. Okay, and we can add a little bit more space between some of these. So also, because I'm using a Josephine Bow Designs kit, I don't have any like matching icons. So I've had to like fully go into my stash. Oh, these are actually picking up like way easier than I thought they would. That is delightful. I might use something a little bit bigger to mark that I had a day off then, because I've got a little bit extra space. So I use this slightly chunkier little thing. I also have to be careful when I am trying to like move these boxes around that I don't crack all the foil on them, which I have definitely done multiple times in the past when using a like pre-foiled kit. The colours in this kit were kind of difficult to match, especially the yellow, because the yellow is like so bright but also like almost neon. And I didn't really have anything that matched it, so I'm just going to have to deal with the fact that the yellow that I've picked out isn't a great match. Okay, so for having a day off, I have a little bow that I found in my stash and a day off script from Plannerface. For playing some Sims, I have Squidge from stick with the Planco, and then I have a like binge watch vanilla from Papershire. For my lifting journal, I have a book doodle. For team training, for my openers, I have vanilla. And then for some Baldur's Gate in the evening, I have a keyboard, controller and mouse from Papershire. I'm really excited for how this spread is going to turn out. Next, moving on to Tuesday, I worked from home this day. So I'll add in a quarter box to mark in working from home. I then had my first taper session. I think this sticker is from a monthly kit. I did have to pull out some monthly stuff, so I just need to trim. A little blast from the past there of me trimming every single sticker. While I was training this day, a thunderstorm started like in the middle of my training session, which took me by surprise for sure. So yeah, I've got that for the surprise thunder. I then was playing some Baldur's Gate with Becca and watching more Asian champs. I think because I have a lot of half boxes, I'm going to try and use up all the half boxes. So I'm going to add both of those things into the same box. So for work, I have Vanilla at her laptop, and I'm going to only cover up one of the palm trees there. I've got Dumbbells version 2 from Plannerface for my lifting this week. As you can see, I'm not bothering to match my stickers to the sticker that I've put down this week, which I normally do, but I don't have the brain for it. I have this thunder from Papershire to mark in the surprise thunder, and then I have vanilla and a TV doodle to mark in gaming and watching Asian championships. Okay, moving on to Wednesday. I didn't really do a lot this day. I was getting kind of tired. I worked from home. I'm gonna have to leave myself a lot of space. Yeah, so I worked from home. I did some laundry. So I'll mark in with this flag, but I am going to end up covering up the flag end with my sticker, like my character sticker. I then played some Baldur's Gate with Becca. Surprise, surprise. I'm actually going to use a square box for that. And then I watched some Asian championships in the evening. Okay, we'll just move that square box a smidge. But that was pretty bang on with the sizing. I feel like I don't leave as much of a gap between these swatches and the sticker above it, because the swatch has like a white border. So I have vanilla working from home. Just going to try not to cover up too much of the foil. I then have the laundry doodle from Plannerface. I then have a computer from Papershire, and I think I'm going to use one of these, what are they called? Little checklists that come in the kit behind it to add a little bit more foil in there. Cute. And then I have another TV doodle for watching more Asian championships. Okay, so that's the first half of the week. I'm really, I wanted to save as much of the foil stuff for this half, so I have used or brought in quite a lot of the other stickers that I pulled out. But I think, I feel like it's sufficiently foily. Okay, moving on to Thursday. Again, I worked from home on Thursday. Oh, I have a whole extra set of quarter boxes that I haven't thought to use. Okay, I'm not going to use one of them there. We'll just use these ones for work, and then I'll use the other ones for other stuff at the weekend. Cool. So I have work, and then I had my second taper session. So taper sessions are basically lighter sessions, so that you're still moving around, but you're also resting before your big competition day. They're not my favourite because you've got like all this, like normally with lifting you have a lot of adrenaline to help you do lifts, and when you don't have adrenaline it's really difficult to get yourself to go under the bar and actually like do a lift. On this day I dyed my hair. Garden Sunshine. I got Garden Sunshine dye hair in Asian Championships. So I feel like I watched the champs while I was dyeing my hair. So actually, yeah, we use this yellow for a bit of Garden Sunshine. I didn't do like a full bleach to do my roots. I just topped up the blue side of my head. And then freeze this for dyeing my hair because it's quite big. And then this one's also left over from a monthly, so we'll just trim it. And then a blue little thing. For watching Asian Champs at the end of the day. I'm just gonna have to try and fiddle with the sizing a little bit, or spacing even. Fab. Okay, for working from home this day, I have another Bonilla. For training, I have dumbbell version 2. For some Garden Sunshine, I have this sun that I found. I think it's maybe from like a sampler or something. I can't remember honestly. I then have Lottie dyeing her hair for hair dye time, and then a little binge watch Bonilla because I didn't want to use the TV doodles every single day. On Friday, I was working on site. So I'll add a quarter box in for that. I've got Garden Sunshine, festival planning. I think right at the bottom I will put gaming and drinks and Boulders Gate with Becca. And then for a little bit of Garden Sunshine, I'll pop this one in. Basically this day was really nice. So I sat in the garden for a little bit after work. I have something quite big for an overall planning. Oh well, we'll work it out. Okay, so for Friday I had loads of meetings, so I got a Bonilla that says this could have been an email. And then for sitting outside in the sun, I just have some flip-flops. Again, I think those are from like a Planner Face like freebie or something. For doing a little bit of festival planning, I have some wristbands from Papershire. I'm gonna get a lot of use out of those in June, I think. And then I just have Bonilla gaming for gaming in the evening. I did pull out a little wine glass, but that's not gonna fit in. Okay, so now we're coming to the 2 days where I have to fit the most in. I've still got a decent amount of like foily stuff left. I'm just gonna have to be careful with it. Okay, so the first thing that I'm gonna mark in on Saturday is I was loading the first session. I haven't loaded for a while, and also this was a development session, so it was like the youth lifters. So they were using a bar that's 5 kilos. So I had to do like 5 kilo bar maths at 8 in the morning on a Saturday, which was a little bit brain melty, because normally when you're loading you have like a screen that tells you what plates should be on the bar, but it doesn't necessarily tell you the right bar depending on how old the kid is. I then had my first session of refereeing. And then I did a little bit more loading. And then our coach bought us some pizza for lunch. And then I was coaching straight after that. I then had my little stint as centre ref. And then I didn't have anything to do for the last session, so I was just getting to watch and chat with people. And then the last thing I'm going to add in, I'm going to have to pull the weekend banner up slightly to add this in. But I just, once I got home, okay, that's kind of stressful to pull up, but I just had like a lazy evening. Oh my god, that's ruined the weekend banner. Okay, well, that's sad. The E has unfoiled itself. After all that saying that I needed to be really careful with the foil in this kit, I've not been careful. Okay, so I have a shaker cup from Planner Face to mark in loading. I have these 1 ton in a million wontons that are giving a thumbs up for refereeing. So I've kind of pulled out a bunch of them to all signify each thing. For coaching, I have, I'm just gonna have to cover up the foil, this vanilla, and then another wonton. And these guys are sitting on a sofa, but it fits. And then just have Lottie bundled up. For a lazy evening. Oh, I'm so annoyed about that. I really should have known better. I mean, I even said it. Oh, right. Anyway, let's move on. For Sunday, the first thing I'm going to mark in is that I had to weigh in at 8 AM. So I had to get up very early. And then I'm going to mark in big that this was my comp day. And then I'm going to need some little things again. After that, I was just watching. And then, okay. I don't have any blue little things left, so we're gonna have to go back to orange. So center ref. For coaching, I will use a flag. We then had to clean up. Okay, I've run out of blue, but I didn't think I would have to cut up the checklists for this kit, but here we are. So I'm just going to put it in upside down. And then finally we went to Mackey's. No, that was for Mackey's. I got home and I was exhausted, as you might expect. Haven't had to do this for a while. Cool, let's just give all these a little bit more breathing room. Yeah, so it was like such a great weekend. I haven't put in, I can put in there what I actually lifted. I did I lifted comp PBs across the board. I was very happy about it. I finally got my 140 total, which is what I was aiming for. I didn't get a single kilo more than that. For weigh-in, I have a Joy of Planning Weigh Day sticker. For my session lifting, I have Lottie weightlifting. I don't use these very often because they're massive, but they're super cute. For watching lifting, I have, oh, I might flip this around if I can, if it'll let me. Okay, everything that I was really worried about lifting up, I've had no problem with, and the thing that I wasn't worried about lifting up has had the problem, which is such a shame. I'm using these wontons for refereeing again, and then I have the same vanilla for coaching. I then have a vacuum doodle from Planner Face for cleaning up the gym, and a squidge, I think this is from a sampler, but a squidge with fries for going to McDonald's, and then a exhausted Lottie for being exhausted at the end of a very, very busy week. So that is all of my stickers down. I love how this has turned out. It's so shiny, such a good week. I will be back in a sec once I've filled all this out. Okay, so here is the spread all filled out, and I am so happy with how this has turned out. I always love how Josephine Bow Designs kits look in my planner, just because they're so bright and shiny. Like I said already, I think it's because the foil isn't on glossy paper, so it just stands out even more than usual. But that is everything for this video, friends. If you have any questions, please leave them in the comments down below. If you made it all the way to the end, leave me a sun emoji in the comments. Drop the video a like if you enjoyed it, and if you're new here, don't forget to subscribe. I'll see you next time. Bye!